And then exhale consciously. While doing this pranayama, make sure that the physical body is totally relaxed, mind is focused on the breath, not wandering anywhere. Doing this correctly, consistently will quieten your mind. So let's practice this a few times. Now, with a quietened mind, one should do Nijidhyasanam. Upasana, dhyanam done after studying Vedanta Shastras, the mind focused on Supreme Reality, Brahma Tattvam, recollecting key Upanishad mantras pointing to Brahman and reiterating the already understood meanings. The fundamental message of the Upanishad being that our own true nature, Atman, is not different from Brahman, the Supreme Reality. Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha, to be reiterated during Jidhyasanam, so that the central message of the Upanishad is internalized, totally internalized, resulting in transformation of the individual from Jiva Bhava to Brahma Bhava. The process of converting knowledge or information into transformation is Nijidhyasanam. Upanishad itself says, Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma Tat Jalaniti Shanta Upasita. So Shanta Upasita, to begin with, quieten the mind, and then Upasita, do Upasana, Nidhyasanam on Brahman. As what? Idam Sarvam Khalu Brahmaeva. Verily, all around us, The only absolutely real principle, absolute reality is Brahma Tattvam. Though not comprehensible by our sense organs and mind, by systematic study of Vedanta Shastras, one becomes aware that there is an absolute reality that is all pervading, and it is called absolute reality because it is absolute in itself, is independent of any other entity, under the nature of absolute existence, absolute consciousness, absolute bliss. Satchitananda Swarupam. This Satchitananda Swarupam is only absolute reality that is all pervading. And from this absolutely real principle, Brahma Tattvam, emerges the relatively real, seemingly real universe. The universe is cognizable by sense organs and mind, is only a matter principle, doesn't have existence of its own. It borrows existence from Brahman and undergoes creation, sustenance, dissolution continuously, srishti, sthiti, layam. Since it doesn't have existence of its own, the universe, Jagat, is called as being Vyavaharika Satyam, relatively real. Whereas Brahman alone is absolutely real, it is called as Paramarthika Satyam. So, since Brahman is the fundamental cause, providing existence to the entire universe from which creation, sustenance, dissolution happens, Brahman here is called as Tat Jalan. Tat Jalan means Tat Brahma. From that Brahma Tattvam, Jalan, this universe undergoes Srishti, Sthiti, Layam. Now, similar to the world, which is a matter principle, our own physical body, sense organs, mind, thoughts are all matter principles, don't have existence of their own. They borrow existence from absolute reality, Brahma Tattvam, are manifesting themselves, sustained for some period of time, and finally get resolved into the fundamental source, fundamental matter. So, by pointing out that both the world as well as our own physical body, even our own thoughts, are all only relatively real, seemingly real, not of existence of their own, Upanishad is pointing to a very important message. What is that? Just like unreal things, things which have no existence, do not create any impact on our mind. So also, by this knowledge that the entire world of experiences and also whatever is happening to our physical body, our own thoughts that are arising in the mind are all being only seemingly real, with the knowledge that Brahman alone is absolute reality, rest are only seemingly real. One should learn to get not perturbed or disturbed by any of the events happening around us, including our own thoughts. Similar to unreal things, similar to things which don't exist, they don't have impact on the mind, even though normal people, ignorant people, not knowing that they're only seemingly real, attach themselves emotionally. Accordingly, their minds face up and down, never ever established in peace. Person who has this knowledge, Advaita Jnanam, remains unperturbed by disconnecting emotionally from events around and also one's own thoughts by becoming a witness alone, not getting emotionally connected. Sakshi Cheta Kevalo Nirgunascha. And so, by becoming an observer only and not getting emotionally affected, a person with this Advaita Jnanam is always established in peace and bliss. Please note that this is the only way through this Advaita Jnanam alone one can attain permanent peace and bliss. There is no other way. Nanya Pantha Ayanaya Vidyate. Even the Veda mantras declare very clearly that attaining Advaita Jnanam and being established in this Jnanam alone will enable one to be established in permanent peace. So one should make every attempt to attain this Jnanam and be established in this Atma Jnanam, Brahma Jnanam, Advaita Jnanam. And so, to further elaborate on this all pervading nature, because Brahman is the only absolute truth that is all pervading. Let's recollect another key Upanishad mantra pointing to the all pervading nature of Brahman. Brahmaibedam amritam purastat. Brahma paschat. Brahma dakshinatastottarena. Adhastordham cha prasritam. Brahmaivedam vishwamidam varishtam. Idam vishwam brahmaiva varishtam. In this universe, Brahman alone is the greatest, most glorious, all-pervading principle of the nature of Brahmaivedam amritam. It's what nature of immortality, ever existent, never subject to creation, never decays, never can be destroyed, never the same, ever pure. This pure, immortal Brahman is in front of us, behind us, to our right, left, below, above, also inside and outside each one of us. Antar bahischa tatsarvam yapya narayana sthitaha. So if this absolute reality, Brahma Tattvam, is also present within each of us, how do we understand? How do we know? How do we recognize? Why should we make an attempt to know? Because Brahman, being Satchidananda Swarupam, is the nature of absolute bliss as well. Ananda Swarupam. One who recognizes, knows, and owns up to this supreme principle, Brahma Tattvam, as verily one's own self, present it within, is established in absolute peace and bliss. Upanishads point out that the same absolute reality, Brahma Tattvam, Satchidananda Swarupam, which is all pervading, is also present within each of us, now known as Atman. Atman, which is present within each of us, is also Satchidananda Swarupam. Brahman also is Satchidananda Swarupam. And by focusing on any of the three natural aspects, Rupa Lakshanam of Atman, with a calm mind which is looking inward, one will be able to easily recognize that this supreme principle, Satchidananda Swarupam, is present within each of us. And then further systematic study of Vedanta Shastras will enable one to own up this Atma Tattvam as one's own true nature. So, what are the three key Swarupa Lakshanam? Let's focus on Chit Swarupam, Chaitanya Tattvam. When your mind is withdrawn inside and look inward, you will recognize that only because of the presence of consciousness principle, Chaitanya Tattvam, present within us and emanating from within, the mind is able to cognize. The mind also is a matter principle. It cannot cognize in its own without Chaitanya Tattvam, the consciousness principle. And where is it coming from? From within each of us. So this principle, supreme principle, consciousness principle, Atman, should be present within each of us. And so one should make an attempt to focus on this consciousness principle, understand it, and own up to it. Let's recollect the Upanishad mantra pointing to this consciousness principle. Pratibodha viditam matam amritatvam hi vindate atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate amritam. Bodham, bodham, pratibodham. So constant cognition, knowledge that is happening in the mind. Pratibodha viditam matam. Understand very clearly that cognition that is happening in the mind is because of the presence of this consciousness principle, Chaitanya Tattvam, Atma Tattvam, present within each of us. And one who knows that this Atman is present verily within us and also owns up to it as one's own true nature, becomes Atmanishta, Brahmanishta. Upanishad directly now says that Pratibodha Vijitam Matam Amritatvam Vindate, bestows immortality to a person who has rendered knowledge, jnanam. How? One who attains this Atma Jnanam knows one's own true nature as Atman Satchidananda Swarupam and understand that I am ever complete. Never was there any lacunae in me. While ignorant people always think that something is missing and so hanker after fulfilling desires which they think will help them attain completeness. An Atmajnani knows that I am ever complete and so attains a desireless state. And having been established in a desireless state is no more subject to rebirth. Please understand, the only reason we are being subject to being born again and again is because of unfulfilled desires. An Atmajnani, Brahmajnani, established in a desireless state, crosses over this samsara chakram and attains moksham or amritatmam. So, pratibodha viditam matam amritatmam hi vindate. So, while being alive with this Atmajnanam, there is another great benefit for an Atmajnani. Atmana vindate viryam. This Atmajnanam bestows special mental fortitude, mental capability, mental strength. What is that? Well, normal people may be subject to misery, sorrow, undergo depression when things that happen around them are not as per their expectations or not favorable to them. Atmajnani, knowing that they're all only seemingly real, relatively real, not having any existence of their own, treating them as external to oneself. Atmana vindate viryam is never perturbed, never disturbed. And this special mental strength is bestowed on Atmajnani. So by living also, Atmajnanam provides great benefit. And Vidyaya vindate amritam. And this knowledge totally internalized results in transformation of the individual to Atmanishta, Brahmanishta, and the person attains amritam. So Vidyaya vindate amritam. So pratibodha viditam matam amritatmam hi vindate. Atmana vindate viryam vidyaya vindate amritam. So knowledge of absolute reality, Satchidananda Swarupam, Atma Tattvam has one's own true nature, not different from Brahman, bestows immortality. Now let's see how in Sri Dakshinamurti Stotram, Acharya Shankara takes us systematically through the depths of Advaita Vedanta Shastras to enable us understand our own true nature as Atman, not different from Brahman. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om. Vakratunda Mahakaya Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvigham Kurume Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Guru Brahma Guru Vishnu Guru Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parambrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Shaje Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Smritipurananamalayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavadpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashyakato Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Deha Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Apara Karuna Sindhum Jnanadam Shantarupinam Sri Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudanmaham. Oh. So now chant 6 key shlokas focusing on Jnanam, never to forget them. Om Shri Ganesha Namaha Shri Saraswati Namaha Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om Shri Bhagavanuvacha Teshamevanukampartham Ahamajnanajam tamaha Nashayamyatmabhavasthaha Jnanadipena bhasvata Jyotishamapita tajyotihi Tamasah paramuchyate Jnanam gneyam jnanagamyam Hridi sarvasya vishtitam Nahi jnanena sadrisham Pavitramiha vidyate Tatsvayam yoga samsiddhaha Kalenatmani vindati Jnanena tu tadajnanam Esham nashitamatmanaha Teshamaditya Prakashayati tatparam Yathai samidhognihi Bhasmasat kuruterjuna Jnanagni sarvakarmani Bhasmasat kurute tatha Yasya sarve samarambhaha Kama sankalpa varjitaha Jnanagni dagna karmanam Tamahu panditam buddhaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So today's Gita Shloka for contemplation. So looks like it has not been posted. Let's take the okay, now should this post? Okay. Very important shloka from 5th chapter, the 14th shloka, 5.14. Let's chant it, understand the meaning properly. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala samyogam swabhavastum pravartate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So in the previous shloka, Bhagavan had told 13th shloka, 5.13, Karma Sannyasa Yoga. Bhagavan says that Atman is not involved in any action, akarta, and also na karta na karaita, neither a doer nor an instigation agent for any doing. So there is neither doership nor ownership for doing anything. So then what is the nature of Atman? So that nature of Atman is being explained in this verse, and also how actions are happening, how reactions are happening in the world is being explained. This wonderful, very important shloka from Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So look at the meaning in detail. Prabhu. Here the word Prabhu, Ishvaraha, refers to Atma Tattvam. Because in the previous verse, Namadvare Pure Dehi, Naiva Kurvan Nakarain has been mentioned. If somebody is going to be sitting in a city, that person should be a king. So referring to that Atma Tattvam present within the physical body as a king. Here it is mentioned as Prabhu. This Atman na kartrutvam srijati. So srijati na kartrutvam. Srijati creates na kartrutvam, neither doership na karmani, nor the objects. So neither the objects that are being experienced nor the action responsible for the creation and also interaction. Atman is not responsible for matter principle. That is a fundamental message. So how does the matter principle originate? You all should know. Matter originates from fundamental matter principle, Maya Tattvam. And this Maya Tattvam doesn't have existence of its own. Only Atman provides existence to Maya, fundamental matter. And so Atman is neither a doer nor a creator of objects. And importantly, the third most important thing is na karma phala samyogam, nor does it have any contact with the results of action. So when Atman is neither connected with the objects, creation of objects or modification of objects, nor does it do any action, does not experience any results of action, so has no connection with karma phalam as well. So no connection with karma, no connection with kartrutvam, and so no connection with bhoktrutvam. So no karma, no kartrutvam, no bhoktrutvam with respect to Atman. And this Atman is present where? Then within each and every individual, lokasya, with respect to all the people, this Atman though present within each one of us, our own true nature Atman is not connected with matter principle. So how does this matter principle manifest and do all the action? Bhagavan is an answer here too. But Swabhavaha. Swabhavaha is equal to Prakriti, Maya. Swabhavaha pravartate is operating by the process of grossification of matter, subtle matter to gross matter, and then finally the universe manifests and all the interactions happen with respect to the matter. Even our own sense organs and mind are all matter principles. They interact with the matter principles in the universe. Atman is only an observer. Sakshi, Cheta, Kevalo, Nirgunascha. Neither responsible for creation of objects, nor doership, nor ownership, nor the fruits of action. So, very important. Atman is Sakshi, Cheta, Kevalaha, Nirgunascha. So, very important to understand the Atma Tattvam as distinctly different from Prakriti or Maya Tattvam. So, let's stand this once again, understand the meaning clearly. Shri Bhagavanu Vacha na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srijati prabhu na karma phala samyogam svabhavastu pravartate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Now let's begin our first session on Sri Dakshinamurti Stotram. Adam Swagatam, hearty welcome to our first session, understanding the meanings of Dakshinamurti Stotram. Hopefully all of you have got the text. Yes, Dakshinamurti Stotram. And we will begin today with one of the Dhyana Shlokam on Dakshinamurti, which is appearing in one of the commentaries of Dakshinamurti Stotram, a very famous one, is Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Param. What I'll do is I'll chant it once, and so you can use Dakshinamurti Stotram. It's also known as Dakshinamurti Ashtakam, starting from Darpana Drishyamana Nagari, and contains all the Dhyana Shlokas. And we will chant the all the Dhyana Shlokas. So we'll first take up the meanings of Dhyana Shlokas and then the individual verses. We'll first chant the Dhyana Shloka on Dakshinamurti for us to understand who is Dakshinamurti first, and then we'll go into the details of this particular Dakshinamurti Stotram, also called as Dakshinamurti Ashtakam. So can somebody post this Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam? We will take it up. We'll chant it once and then we'll start the. Very good. Vishwajit has posted it. Also, English version can be posted for people who cannot follow Sanskrit. So I'll chant once, Ken can chant after me, and then we will chant it a couple of times. And slowly you start memorizing this important verse. Om Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam.
Om Maunavyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam. Maunavyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Yuvanam.
Varshishthante Vasadrishi Ganaihi Avrutam Brahmanishthaihi.
Varsishthante Vasadrishi Avrutam Brahmanishthaihi. Varsishthante Vasadrishi Avrutam Brahmanishthaihi.
Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandamurtim.
Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandamurtim. Acharyendram Karakalita Chinmudramanandamurtim.
Swatmaramam Mudita Badanam Dakshinamurtimide.
Swatmaramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshinamurtimide. Swatmaramam Mudita Vadanam Dakshinamurtimide.
Very good. I want to first chant this verse as a prostration to Dakshinamurti, and then we'll start our session. Om Vakratunda Maha Akayi Surya Koti Samaprabha Nirvighnam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nidhaye Sarva Vidyanam Shajya Bhavaroginam Gurave Sarva Lokanam Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankara Acharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Rishmati Purana Malayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavatpada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankara Acharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Vande Bhagavanto Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomapatyapta Dehaja Dakshinamurte Namaha Varakaruna Sindhum Jnanadam Shantarupinam Ti Chandrasekhara Gurum Pranamami Mudan Maham Om. So, with the blessings of Sri Adi Shankaracharya, let's start the study of a very important text composed by the great Adi Shankaracharya, which is called as Sri Dakshinamurti Stotram. It's also called as Dakshinamurti Ashtakam. Since 8 important verses are there from the beginning up to number 8, glorifying Dakshinamurti, it is called Dakshinamurti Stotram. Since the number is 8, Dakshinamurti Ashtakam. And since it is a Stotram, Stotram means what? Stuti. Stuti means in praise. So these are verses in praise of Lord Dakshinamurti. And who is Lord Dakshinamurti? Lord Dakshinamurti is a manifestation of Parameshwara, Lord Shiva, as an epitome of knowledge. So, knowledge, which is Jnanam, Brahmajnanam, Brahmajnanam not different from Brahman, Chaitanya Tattvam, light of consciousness, though does not have any form. For the sake of Dhyanam or meditation, the form of Dakshinamurti is invoked as Sakshat Dhyana Swarupam. Dakshinamurti is an aspect of Lord Shiva. And so when we say Sadashiva Samarambham, Shankaracharya Madhyamam, somewhere we chant this, right? Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. So we say Sadashiva Samarambham. Samarambham means what? Samyak Arambham. Beginning with Sadashiva. Sadashiva refers to Dakshinamurti. So Dakshinamurti is the Adi Guru, the Guru of all Gurus, and doesn't need any Guru. See, while everybody, you can ask, from whom did you learn? Who was your Guru? The Adi Guru, Dakshinamurti, is the Guru of all Gurus and the first Guru, because Sakshat Brahmatattvam manifesting as Dakshinamurti. So, when we say Sadashiva Samarambham, what does it mean? Dakshinamurti Samarambham. Then there is a series of Acharya Parampara. Shankaracharya Madhyamam. In between, Acharya Shankara, the greatest teacher of Advaita Vedanta, is appearing. In between, all the important acharyas being mentioned. Then Madhyamam. Asmat Acharya Paryantam. So the Guru Parampara gets completed with respect to us when we recollect our teacher. So for us, up to our teacher, right from Adi Guru, Dakshinamurti, Sadashiva, through Shankaracharya, up to our present Guru, we remember Asmat Acharya Paryantam. That means up to our Guru. Vande Guru Paramparam. So we are prostrating the entire Guru Parampara, starting with Sadashiva, which is Dakshinamurti, Lord Dakshinamurti. So this Dakshinamurti Ashtakam, Sri Dakshinamurti Stotram, is a wonderful composition of Sri Adi Shankaracharya in praise of Dakshinamurti. And since Dakshinamurti actually represents knowledge. And what kind of knowledge? Not normal knowledge. Advaita Jnanam. Write down, very important. It is not only Jnanam. Important, remember, it is not Dvaita Jnanam. It is not Vishishta Advaita Jnanam, not Dvaita Vedanta or Vishishta Advaita Vedanta. It is Advaita Vedanta Jnanam is represented by Dakshinamurti. And so all the verses will have a deep connection to Advaita Vedanta. And that's why, while we can all chant, so that we get the chanting correct and memorize these verses, A good background of Advaita Vedanta by study of Bhagavad Gita, even that is not enough, study Upanishads, which presents Advaita Vedanta clearly, has to be there in the mind for us to understand the meaning of this Dakshinamurti Stotram. It has got a depth of Advaita Vedanta. It is totally immersed in this particular composition. So understood, Dakshinamurti is a very personification of Lord Shiva portrayed as what? Jnana Swarupi, spiritual wisdom, and the Adi Guru, Guru Nam Guruhu. Now, Parameshwara. So we have this trinity, right? Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. Popularly we know. So Brahma ji creates the universe, and Vishnu sustains the universe. Srishtikarta and Sthitikarta. What is the role of Parameshwara, Lord Shiva? Layakarta. Means what? Supposedly being involved in destruction of the visible, experienceable physical universe. And though Parameshwara, Lord Shiva, is responsible for destruction, the universe is not totally destroyed. Please understand. By now, you all should have some background. Universe only gets resolved back into fundamental matter, Maya Tattvam or Bija Swarupam. So, Lord Shiva, what is he doing? He is resolving the world into fundamental matter. But the fundamental matter which exists, why does fundamental matter exist? As write down, as long as avidya exists, fundamental matter will exist. So avidya is responsible for matter, avidya kritam. So this entire universe is avidya kritam. So as long as avidya is there are many jivas having avidya. So this fundamental matter will never be destroyed. And so Lord Shiva is only resolving the physical, visible universe into unmanifest form, that is Maya Tattvam, fundamental matter, Bija Swarupam. And what is the reason that Maya is existent? Maya, fundamental matter, is existent only because of avidya. Now you see, Lord Shiva as Parameshwara has resolved physical matter into fundamental matter, whereas as Lord Dakshinamurti, Sadashiva, the same Parameshwara destroys even this ignorance. Please understand. This Dvaita Jnanam, Avidya Ajnanam is totally destroyed by the same Parameshwara, Lord Shiva, as Dakshinamurti, by bestowing us the Advaita Jnanam. And to this Lord Dakshinamurti, all these verses of praise are being composed by the Adi Shankaracharya, through which Advaita Jnanam also is being conveyed. While on one hand, the verses praise Lord Dakshinamurti as epitome of Jnana Swarupam. Also, the important principles, tenets of Advaita Vedanta are being conveyed through these verses. So what happens? One who chants the Dakshinamurti Stotram gets two benefits. What are the two benefits? First benefit is that you are praising Lord Shiva as what? Adi Guru, who destroys ignorance. And by understanding the meaning of these verses, you also get Advaita Jnanam, which removes your ignorance. So one is praising Bhagavan, and two, destroying your ignorance. Nowhere you'll get this double benefit. Most of the stotras are only praising the particular Bhagavan, God, Deva, Devata, Devi. But nowhere do you get Jnanam, also as part of Stotra Parayanam. So Stotra Parayanam providing us divine grace by praising Bhagavan, and also getting Jnanam, which will remove avidya or ajnanam totally, two benefits are bestowed to a person who sincerely studies, understands the meaning, and contemplates on the meaning while chanting Dakshinamurti Stotram, Dakshinamurti Ashtakam is bestowed on individuals. Now, before we begin the text, some background about the word Dakshinamurti itself. Now, what does Dakshinamurti do? Dakshinamurti removes ignorance. And once ignorance is removed, what happens? You are established in knowledge. And this Advaita Jnanam bestows you what? Amritatvam. Just now you've been chanting again and again. Pratibodha viditam matam. Amritatvam hi vindate. What is Amritatvam? Immortality. That means what? No more subject to birth. And when there is no birth, there is no death. Clear? So far it's clear, right? So if Vadiguru Dakshinamurti has to bestow us this jnanam, which will remove avidya, remove ignorance, and bestow amritatvam, Dakshinamurti himself should be of the nature of amritam, amritatvam. So Brahme Vedam amritam purastat. Dakshinamurti is sakshat amrita swarupi. And so normally we see Dakshinamurti as being seated facing south direction. Dakshinam means what? South. So facing the south direction, Dakshinamurti is sitting. So there is a significance, important significance to Dakshinamurti facing south. So there are two meanings of the word Dakshinamurti. Write down. One is Dakshina plus Murti. So Dakshinadik is Dakshina plus Murti. Is a form of Lord Shiva facing the south. Second meaning I'll give later. It is a very interesting interpretation. Dakshina plus Amurti. So the same Dakshina Murti can be broken as two ways. One Dakshina plus Murti. Second is Dakshina plus Amurti. First we'll take up the meaning of Dakshina plus Murti. Dakshina means what? Dakshinadik. So in our tradition, every direction there is an Adhisthana Devata. So in the south direction, Dakshinadik, who is the Devata that is present? Lord Yama. So that's why every day while doing Sandhya Vandanam, what we do, we turn toward the south direction and pray to Lord Yama. Yamaya Dharma Rajaya Mrityave Chantakaya Cha. So we pray to Lord Yama. We have been studying about Lord Yama in what? Kathopanishad also. Yes or no? Vaivasvataya Kalaya Sarvabhuta Kshayaya Cha. Audumbaraya Dathaya Neelaya Parameshtine. Vrikodharaya Chitraya Chitraguptaya Vai Namo Namaha. That shloka we chant. Importantly, Yamaya Dharma Rajaya. Mrityavecha Antakaya Cha. Yamaya to Yama Dharma Rajaya, epitome of Dharma. Mrityave, Lord of Death. So people are scared about Lord Yama. And so in traditional families, people don't allow you to sit facing south, yes or no? We'll say don't turn towards south direction, sit facing east or north. So either for doing japa, parayana, even while taking medicine, they'll say don't face south direction. It is supposed to cure, right? So face north direction or east direction, sit down and take the medicine. Also eating food, they say face the east or north direction. So people are scared of south because south is supposed to have Lord Yama as his abode. So who can sit facing Yama directly, fearlessly? So who has got fear of death will be scared of facing Lord Yama. Only one who is established in immortality. For a person who is established in immortality, person is not afraid of Lord Death, Lord Yama. Just like Nachiketas, bravely, we studied, right? Went to Lord Yama. Normal people are very scared. He goes there and asks the ultimate knowledge from Brahma Vidyacharya and gets it. So Dakshinamurti is epitome of immortality, no more subject to birth. And not being born, where is the question of death? So by facing the south direction, Dakshinamurti, form facing the south direction, Lord Dakshinamurti is indicating immortality. So having won over, one means what? WON, having attained victory over death, no fear of facing the south direction, Dakshinamurti. So when you remember Dakshinamurti, remember that if you chant Dakshinamurti Stotram, pray to Dakshinamurti, meditate on Lord Dakshinamurti, understand the meanings of the verses of Dakshinamurti Stotram, contemplate on them and get Advaita Jnanam. What is guaranteed? Advaita Jnanam Amrutatvam. So no fear of death. So no combination of Kathopanishad plus Dakshinamurti Stotram will ensure that one has no fear of death. South, what is the question? It was mentioned during evening. What is that? Mentioned evening west, it is not correct. Is an evening west, is it correct? That is okay. For doing japam, because sun is setting in the west, face west for doing Gayatri japam. Okay, I have taken with detail, right? Sandhyavandan, please refer to that course. Okay. Now, anyway, coming to the point. So the south direction, the Adhisthana Devata is Yama. East, for completeness, write down. East direction, the Adhisthana Devata is Indra. Then the west direction, Adhisthana Devata is Varuna. And the north direction, Uttara Digbhagam, the Adhisthana Devata is Somaha. That is moon. So if you want to go east, west, north, and south, east is Purva Digbhagam, Indra. Paschima Digbhagam, that is west is Varuna. So Indra, Varuna. Just like Mitra, Varuna is there, Indra, Varuna. Then north direction is Somaha, that is moon. And south direction is Yama. So the gods presiding these directions. And also there are further gods for the north, east, south, west, and all will not go into this. 4 important directions, know this. Okay. Depending on what you want, you face the direction for getting the particular benefit. And just now a question was asked. Who is the Adhisthana Devata for the evening? Varuna. That's why we are chanting Imam me Varunashtadhehavam Madhyacha Mridaya. And so Varuna is also the Adhisthana Devata for the Paschima. That is the west direction. Now you see, all are connected together in our system. Everything is perfect. In a Vedic system, the God, the direction you face, what you do, everything will be well connected. So now what is the important message for us? While 4 directions, 4 important gods, most important is south direction. Dakshinadika is that of Lord Yama. And Lord Yama is what? That direction is what? Dakshinamurti is facing. So Dakshinamurti by facing south direction, indicating victory over Yama or Lord of Death. That's why Parameshwara, Dakshinamurti, Sadashiva is also called as Mrityunjaya. Mrityunjaya means what? One who has attained victory over Mrityu. Mrityunjaya Rudraya Nilakantaya Shambhave Amriteshaya Sharvaya Mahadevaya Te Namaha. We'll take up the meaning of this verse also sometime. Understand? So Sadashiva, Mrityunjaya, Dakshinamurti are all synonyms. Now, other meaning. Dakshina plus Amurti. Dakshinaha means one who is samarthaha, one who is an expert, skilled person, extremely skilled. That's why we give Dakshina to people who do Parayana and do proper work, because they are skilled. So, Dakshinaha Amurtihi Isyasaha Dakshinamurti. So, Dakshina plus Amurti. Amurti means what? Formless. Murti means with form. Amurtihi means formless. Rupa rahitaha. So, Dakshinaha samarthaha. Amurtihi rupa rahitaha. Isyasaha Dakshinamurti. Another interpretation of Dakshinamurti is that particular divine personification of Supreme, who is an expert in something. What is the expertise in? Expert in communicating the knowledge of Advaita Vedanta. You need expertise even to explain normal things like what? Physical objects and physical sciences like physics, chemistry, mathematics. Don't you need expertise? That's why you always look for an expert teacher, expert professor to get knowledge, right? To teach that Advaita Vedanta, you need an expert. So, Dakshinaha, Dakshaha, that is Dakshinamurti, Samarthaha, actually Amurti, actually formless, as I told you, but has been given a form for dhyanam or meditation. So, why is Dakshinamurti actually formless? Write down. Dakshinamurti is equal to Brahmajnani, Brahmaswarupi, and a person Brahmavit Brahmaiva Bhavati. A Brahmajnani is Sakshat Param Brahman. And does Brahma Tattvam have any name, form, quality? No. Ashabdam Asparsham Hamvyayam. Somewhere we studied this mantra, right? Where? Mundaka Upanishad. Or now even in Upanishad. Ashabdam Asparsham Arupam Avyayam. So no physical form, Arupam. And so Dakshinamurti actually has no physical form. That's why Dakshinaha Amurtihi. That means what? Samartaha Ruparahitaha Dakshinamurti. So two important derivations for the word Dakshinamurti. Both are fine. But remember, the most important central message. Dakshinamurti symbolizes Sakshat Param Brahma Tattvam, Advaita Swarupam, Advaita Jnanam. And so one who prays to Dakshinamurti and contemplates on the stotras, Dakshinamurti stotram, is sure to get Advaita Jnanam. So, so this Dakshinamurti stotram is so powerful and quite complicated. We'll take 1 minute to understand what are the scriptures that have been written as commentaries for this Dakshinamurti stotram. So one of the famous disciples of Adi Shankaracharya is Sureshwaracharya, also known as Vartikakara. Vartikakara means what? Person has written sub-commentaries. So, since this Dakshinamurti Stotram contains the essence of all Advaita Vedanta, Sureshwaracharya has written a commentary on Dakshinamurti Stotram, which is called as Manasollasa. Write down. Manasollasa Vartikam. So, what is the Adavaga for Manasollasa? Manasa Ullasa. That means what? One who studies Dakshinamurti Stotram, understands the meaning properly, will be established in Ullasa. Means what? Absolute bliss. So, not only Jnanam, Advaita Jnanam, but established in absolute bliss, Manasollasa. Why? Because slowly this Dakshinamurti Stotram, which contains the essence of entire Upanishads, Advaita Saram, with proper study of Vedanta Shastras and also connecting them with all the key words and key verses in Dakshinamurti Stotram, one is taken systematically on the path to get this Jnanam, established in Jnanam. And so, Anando Brahmeti Vijana, Satchidananda Swarupam, you are established in absolute bliss. So, aptly, Sureshwaracharya has named this Vartika as what? Manasollasa Vartikam. We'll not go into all those details because studying Manasollasa will take us another 100 classes, so we'll not take that right now. But totally, there are about more than 130 verses which are part of this Manasollasa Vartikam. And Sureshwaracharya's Manasollasa is also so complicated. There is another commentary called Tattva Sudha, written by one Swayam Prakasha. So, another sub-commentary on Manasollasa itself was written by Swayam Prakasha, commentary called Tattva Sudha. And so, Tattva Sudha is an independent commentary on Dakshinamurti Stotram, similar to Manasollasa. Sub-commentary on Manasollasa is called Manasollasa Vrittanta by another person called Ramatirtha. Those are all different compositions, texts, which are explaining the greatness and in-depth meaning of this wonderful scripture text called Dakshinamurti Stotram. Now we'll take up the first Dhyana Shloka which we chanted. Now for meaning, we got only a couple of minutes. We'll take up a brief introduction. The key points we'll take up, and then we'll take up the entire shloka in the next session. So when you chant this Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Vivanam, that's why studying systematically is important. The last word is what? Dakshinamurti Midhe. So Dakshinamurtim Idhe. Idhe means Namaskaromi. I am prostrating to Dakshinamurti. So if you see the entire verse, there is no Namaskara. The Namaskara appears right at the end, Idhe. Dakshinamurtim Idhe means I am prostrating, Namaskaromi to Dakshinamurti. First write down. So Dakshinamurtim Idhe means I prostrate to Lord Dakshinamurti, who has got these following greatness. What are they? The greatness is being explained 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll just write down the bifurcation, then the meaning will take up in the next session. First, Maunam Vyakhya Prakadita Para Brahma Tattvam. First. So that Dakshinamurti, Lord Dakshinamurti, who one, Maunam Vyakhya Prakadita Para Brahma Tattvam. Then Yuvanam. So Yuvanam. Then third, Varshishtante Vasashignaihi Avratam Brahmanishthaihi. 3. 4. Acharyendram. Then 5. Karakalita Chinmudramananda Murtim. Then 6. Swatma Ramam. 7. Mudita Vadanam. So 7 great aspects of Dakshinamurti are being mentioned to that Dakshinamurtim Idhe. My prostrations to that Lord Dakshinamurti. The reason we have taken up this verse first for understanding is because of Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Param. Parabrahma Tattvam Vivanam. So the popular understanding is Lord Dakshinamurti conveys Brahma Jnanam through silence. Maunam means what? Through silence. So that has to be understood correctly. What is the silence? Can you convey anything in silence? Suppose you come to a session, I'm also sitting in the session, there's a teacher sitting in the session, and everybody is observing silence. Will any knowledge be conveyed? Impossible to convey knowledge through silence. And that too, the most complicated knowledge, that is Advaita Jnanam, can never be communicated through silence. Then why Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Brahma Tattvam Vivanam? You will take up the meaning of this Maunam Vyakhya next session, Saturday morning. Clear? Now understand, interesting, very interesting, right? So that's why we began with understanding Maunam Vyakhya, so that all the other verses we can align accordingly. So we'll chant this verse again and end the session. Om Maunam Vyakhya Prakatita Para Brahma Tattvam Vivanam वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसुषिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम् स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीढे स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीढे ओम शांति 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 ओम पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ओम शांति 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 हरि ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः हरि ओम तत्सत् कृष्ण 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 शुभमस्तु समस्त सन्मंगलानि भवन्तु हरि ओम will continue in about 12 hours studying Kathopanishad, another one connected with Lord Yama, Narayana, Narayana.